Starting soon for a while, Jesse? Okay. Well, let's get started. Hold on. I thought I had to burp. That'd be really funny. Oh, are we really?
You did start it that way. Congrats.
Perfect. That works out great.
Thanks,
Well,
Jesse.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Wednesday. So welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. We are Ryan and Joe.
Hey.
And we're just here. It's Wednesday. Those of you who've been here before, you know how this works. But if it's your first time, this is a show where we do the best we can to handle any issues or challenges you may be facing. And we're not professional therapists or counselors, and we're not a substitute for professional counseling. We just want to help out any way we can. Sometimes one of the best things that's happened to me as I was going through challenges was just to have an outside perspective on what was going on. You know, sometimes it helps to get it out into the air and then have somebody who's not part of the situation take a look and just say, you know, all this is kind of the whole big picture, you know, because when you're in the middle of something, you can't always see the big picture. There's all kinds of things right in the way, and you know, it can be really tough to get an idea of everything that's going on. So anyway, we just want to help out as best we can. You can go ahead and post any issues you're having in the chat, or feel free to post them on our website, which would be right here. And hi and bye, Rack Attack.
Hey, bye-bye. Nice to see you, Master Lay. It's been a while.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Hey, welcome back. And so either post them in the chat, post them on the website there, and we would be happy to address them as best we can. Our illustrious producer tonight is Jesse.
Yep, that's
Everybody
right.
Say thank you to Jesse, because he's amazing. And without him, I wouldn't have come on in time to make a weird noise.
That's right. That's
for
thanks
all
to
of you.
Jesse.
You know,
You're
Jesse. Jesse, we love you.
Jesse sends his hearts.
So I'm Joe, and with me is Ryan Seawald. Ryan, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. I've got $20 in my pocket. I actually don't. That's not true.
Are you going to pop some tags?
I'm going to pop some tags. I'm going to go to the thrift store. Nope. None of that is true. But I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Wonderful. It was a grand day today. I did my front kick board break on the first try.
Did you? Nice.
Stellar day. You know,
first try.
It's always the best when you go first try, and not like a Lego Batman first try.
Yeah, well, yeah, Lego Batman first try is different.
Yeah. Yes.
When you try like 70 times and you're like, nailed it, first try. And you're still confident in yourself just because. I love that. Sometimes that's the attitude I have towards things.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, you know, if any of you guys have been involved in martial arts, you know this, but you know, when you're doing board breaks and stuff like that, it's always so much easier and less painful when you break through the board when you're doing it. If you don't, it hurts a lot more, and it's, you know, definitely frustrating. But yeah, so, and you know, you sit there just and nothing happens, and you're like,
I can believe that. That's interesting the way the physics works like that, but I can believe that. When you don't give it your all and you don't manage to break through the board, it'd hurt more than if you gave it your all and then did, because then all of the I don't know if anybody has ever like taken a rake and hit it across the ground or something, but the vibration sends through the shovel and it shakes your hands like intensely and it kind of hurts. Yeah, totally. I imagine that it's the same thing, except for the board breaks and it causes all of the tension to just just fade into the board instead of back into your foot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes this depressing thud sound, you know. And when you drag it, it's like snap, and it's like yes.
Yeah.
But there is something to it. Yes, I'm sure. You know, it's funny though, because it, you know, I almost know when I'm not going to break it, because I think in my mind I'm not going to break it, you know, or there's some apprehension or tension there. But every time I go up there and just like, nope, I'm going to smash this thing like right now, you know.
Right now. He won't even get into his hands correctly. I'm just going to take it from him, smash it, and win. No. Right now.
That's right. That's right. So awesome. Jesse's phone's going to die.
Oh, no.
That means our whole stream is going to go offline. Or is that? No, wait. That's not what that means.
Actually, it's fine. Our phone isn't. Our stream isn't through his phone.
Right. If it was, boy, that'd be crazy. Tell my wife I love her. That's great.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great. If your phone is about to die and it just says, tell my wife I love her. That'd be awesome. But you'd be like almost disappointed because you're like, phone, you just wasted more battery to say that message.
Right. That's awesome. All right. Well, we do have a question here from Master Lay. Master Lay, again, welcome back. And he's got a question.
Hey.
I have no clue what I could give to my girlfriend who just recently moved away from our city. So directly giving stuff to her is out of option. Yes, there's no way of doing that. So for our first month together. Oh, well, congratulations on your first month. Any ideas? Any ideas on a first month?
That's why he hasn't been showing up. He got a girlfriend and we walked away dejected. Yep. You know, that's what you do.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, thank you, Master Lay, for the question. And so, Ryan, do you have any thoughts on what you get? You don't really call it for 1 month anniversary, but that's because anniversary has anno in it, which is like for a year.
Yeah, anniversary is a year.
It's not like a 1 month year.
That sounds like a book.
The 1 month year. The 1 month year. The 12-second minute.
Yeah. Honestly. Okay, so no, it's an interesting question. I've done a lot of online long distance relationship stuff. But you know, for your first month together, I think that's really cool that you want to get her something special. And yeah, getting her something physical is out of the question unless you ask her where she lives and send it to her. Which could be actually an option. You just have to ask her where she lives and what's her address, and you could send her something. But maybe more, you want to be more inconspicuous. You could just ask her without you'd be like, hey, where are you on Google Maps? I want to check out your area and what the thing is like. Maybe she'll give you your address there. Or like, hey, and where's your house? I want to see it. Can I see it? You know, that's one way to find out people's address. But outside of that, outside of a physical thing, one thing you can do is send her, you know, something obviously digital, like a picture. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a couple different things. If you play video games with her, you know, you can do things in that video game for her. Things that take a while, like spend time doing something that she'd be like, whoa, how did you do this? But like one time I remember in a video game I played, I really like this girl. So there was this class that you could make mushrooms spawn, but they would spawn randomly. And so what I did is I took the mushrooms, and it took like a couple hours, but I wrote out a big message that said, I love you. And then I sent that to her. And so you can do things like that. And I did the same thing with roses one time, something similar where you just put a bunch of roses on the ground and did the same thing. If you don't play a video game, you can't do something like that. That's totally acceptable. One other thing you can do is make art for her. Is maybe you're not necessarily an artist, but you can spend time making something. Everybody can make or craft something that could be visually pleasing. Um, and Princess is pretty good at that. At sending art and drawing cute little messages and stuff like that and sending to people. I think that's really cool. Everyone will appreciate that. She'll appreciate that, even if it's something like not even big, even if it's just a little message that says, "Hey, hope your day is great," and then just on a little note and decorate it up with prettiness, and then take a picture and send it to her. You don't have to spend that. Why am I outing you? Because you do this and it's good and it's really nice. But yeah, a piece of art or something that maybe you and her have a joke about. And you could do something like that. If you know what her favorite flower is or something, draw that or something, along those lines. Taking a picture of something and sending it, that's probably the best thing you can do. That I can think of at the moment. And it wouldn't take you terribly long. I can't draw for her. I can't draw. Okay, you can't draw for heck. If anything, I could sing for her. Oh, okay. Then there you go. That's a good idea too. You could, just get creative. You could sing for her a song that you find makes you think of her or whatever. Or her favorite song or whatever that is, So there you go. Those are my two ideas. But I wish you the best in your relationship there. That's awesome, man. Congrats.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. I would say if you can get a hold of her address, go here.
Dude, I love you. That's awesome.
And you can get something and send them. But you know what I noticed? That there used to be some really cool leggings on there.
Oh my gosh.
Not on there anymore. I was looking for the leggings and I was like, oh, that would be so funny. But hey. But no, it is tough. And Ryan, Ryan's got some great ideas there, because I don't personally have experience much with an online based relationship. Yes, you could buy matching shirts for both of you. So I mean, if you can get something physical, then that'd be great. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything really expensive. I sent you to the website just kind of as something funny. But like I remember, you can make her a card. I have found that when I make a card instead of buying one, it seems to go over a lot better. Or something like that. Something that you can put a little bit of thought into. That's really one of the things about giving a gift, is it's something that tells the other person you were thinking of them, especially in a situation like you're in where you're celebrating 1 month of a relationship with each other. The item itself is going to mean far less than the thought that it conveys.
Right. That's true.
And so, I mean, I can remember, getting a little plastic ring out of a out of a gumball machine and giving it to my girlfriend at the time. And that was one of the most romantic gifts I ever gave her, just because of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But, so it really, and it can be kind of fun, but,
right.
Whatever you do, I mean, man, you could even make a YouTube video, make a private YouTube video, upload it, and then email her the link, say something about how she makes you feel or something like that, or send her to bss.studio and
I love that. It's true though. A lot of times the price isn't what matters; it's the thought that counts. And it's more. A lot of times it's like, this item made me think of you. Makes more of an impact than, hey, this item cost me $7,000. Unless it's something like they know that you worked really hard for it. But either way, if it's the thought, and that counts more so than price. So
but good luck, especially it can be tough, and relationships over long distances can be hard too. So it's kind of sad that she's moved away to a different city, but hopefully you can stay in touch, and now with technology the way it is, it's a lot easier to stay in touch than when I was a youngster. We had the phone with a cord on it. They were, you
couldn't even walk very far away from the wall.
I know, it's crazy. You have to try and like pull the cord, and there was the squiggly cord, and you try and get it in the other room and close the door with the cord still stuck in the door.
You try to get some privacy and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because then someone else in the house picks up a different phone and they can hear everything in the conversation. And they're like, yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Not kidding, guys. That's how it used to work. It's great.
Yeah. I remember when I was a young kid, and before I had very many phone privileges, I had, I wrote back and forth letters, actually, handwritten letters. Jeez. Wow. That's old school, man. So, yes. But, I'm sure you'll figure something out, and whatever you figure out, I'm sure she's going to love it.
Oh, okay. That's great. Black Static and Swerve says, I think that you actually have no idea who that is. Jesse was already logged on before. If Jesse's logged on to Jesse's account, who is this? Okay, so anyway, someone from VSS said, one of the most memorable gifts my wife, back then girlfriend, gave me was a bunch of handmade coupons. It was really cool. Yeah, handmade stuff is awesome. Well, I said my phone died. Oh, so it's probably not Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, that would be Jesse.
His phone died, so.
Well, if Jesse's phone died.
Don't get logical.
Definitely not Jesse.
Yeah, definitely not Jesse. See? Exactly. That's just like I said. His phone died, so Jesse's no longer here. It's someone else. It couldn't be Jesse relogged in on his computer or anything.
I'm
that would
so
be
confused.
No, it is Jesse.
I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
No, it's for sure Jesse. I'm just using bad logic on purpose. But yeah, thanks for the question, Lay.
Yeah,
it's nice to see you here again, and I think it's awesome that you're already thinking of doing stuff like that. Keep that up, no matter how far the relationship goes. What I mean is, no matter how much time has passed in your relationship, because doing things like that, making little hand gifts and stuff, handmade gifts and stuff, that's really sweet, and it makes the person feel good, and it also helps kindle the fire of the relationship. So keep it up. That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember one time I gave a handmade coupons for massage or good for a day to play games.
Yeah. I've done that before for people. That's great.
I remember one time it was Christmas and I was still waiting to get paid, and I didn't have a whole lot of money left over at that moment because we've been paying bills. And I gave my wife a coupon for Christmas and said, "This is good for such and such an item." And on the back, in small letters, I wrote, "Redeemable after such and such a date," because I knew I'd be paid by then.
Nice.
And all you have to do is present this coupon, and blah blah blah. It was good for a laugh, and it was fun.
Yeah. So. One time I gave my sister-in-law, because she has several kids, and so I gave her 3 coupons that said, "Hey, I'll watch your kids for the day," or "Go out for a burrito," or something, because she was like really into burritos. So I was like, go out for a burrito. I'll watch the kids. Like that. Stuff like that, a lot of times is even better than a physical gift that you give somebody. So yeah, keep that in mind. Welcome, Antilla. Nice to see you. Long time no see. And also, nice to see you here, Mini Kiru. Mini Kiru. I like your name. It's cute.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
Yeah. So here we are. Now, Bree said something about messaging her on Discord when we got to her question, but I don't see a question in the chat. Was there a question on the website that she had?
I think that's from before? I think so. Maybe not. Let's see.
Yeah, sort by. Bree, bus ride. Okay. Yep. Posted on last Friday.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I don't. Oh, normal. I've got normal feelings. I don't have bus ride.
Huh? Yeah, normal feelings. That's from November 28th.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the bus ride one. Oh, okay, I found it. Found it.
So,
would you like to go to that one?
Sure. Well, if you wanna message Bree and on Discord, it said okay.
Yeah, and then we also have Science Rocks here, and I think that Science Rocks Cries and Hurt would technically be first, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So yes, Science Rocks is in line first. So cool. Bree, if you just came back, sorry, we're gonna handle Sciences because it's in line first.
Yeah, and then we'll go straight to Breeze after that.
Yes. Okay. So all right. So Science Rocks.
That's right. He does.
Science Rocks can wait, but hey, that's cool. I'm glad you can. But the awesome thing is that you're not going to have to.
Yeah, we're not going to make it.
So yes, you have not hogged the spotlight.
No, you're good, dude.
Yeah, you're awesome
about it.
Yes. So Science Rocks posted Friday. It's incredible how people always attack you and get upset at you when you're struggling the most. You cry out for help and you get hate. The world is cruel and cold sometimes. Yes, you are absolutely right. That is a tremendously true observation. It's definitely been true for me. Ryan, do you have anything to comment on that situation?
Yeah. Oh, hi, Haley. Welcome. Yeah, definitely. That can be, it's like one thing falls and everything else falls apart with it. It's like one of those scenarios. It's like when things are hard, why does everybody else have to make it even harder? It is an interesting thing that we go through in life. And I think there's two things to this. One thing is that they might always kind of be that way, and we just don't notice it as much because we aren't hurting as much. So we pass it off a lot easier and we don't focus on it. Like when things are going bad and you notice them, your brain starts focusing on all the bad things. And then when you start focusing on all the bad things pop out to you more. And they're like, oh, more bad things. Oh, great. More bad things. When all along those bad things had kind of been there, but now you're finally noticing them more because your brain is now focusing on bad things or things that hurt. That is probably true, though it is also true that it seems like at least like everything always goes wrong at once. Or, when we're having a bad day, everybody else is just for some reason having a bad day too and being mean to us. I think that also could be because of our attitude. If we're hurting, our physical attitude changes. The way we present ourselves, the way we talk to people, or how distant we are from people and that sort of thing. And when we are in that kind of attitude, a lot of times it shows itself, and other people kind of pick up on that and kind of take advantage of that, or they're not very not very kind or whatever it is. There's crazy noises going in the background in my place. It's really distracting me. Boom, 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 boom. Anyways, so one thing I would recommend is this: when things are going bad, when you feel like you're experiencing pain, when you're going through life and you're having these struggles, one thing you have to keep in check is your attitude, because the world will be cruel. Sometimes it won't be, but a lot of times it is. So one thing you can do to help yourself through the situation is to put on a good attitude. When you're going through bad times and you feel like poop, talking to yourself and be like, no, I got to have a good attitude. That will actually, I talked about this before, but when you have a high self-esteem, you attract people. People just like being around you because you have a good attitude and you're like, yeah, life is awesome, and I want to be around that guy. He seems like he's having fun. When you're having a bad attitude because everything around you is falling apart, there's nothing like inherently wrong with that. It's very natural to feel like, everything around me is falling apart. I have a bad attitude. Like, I understand. Like, that makes sense. But if you can pull yourself through and have a good attitude in spite of it and say, you know what, that's not going to get me down. Instead of attracting the crowd that will want to pounce on you because they see you're down and they see you're vulnerable, you'll attract the crowd that wants to be around you. And that same crowd is the crowd that wants to lift you up. So when you're going through bad times, whether you have a good attitude or not, people are going to probably pounce on you here and there. They're going to be jerks, but you can get through it a lot better if you try to have some emotional control and say, I'm going to have good attitude regardless. I'm going to keep my spirits high. I won't let the outside world affect how I feel inside. Like, I gotta, I can do this. He said, I also don't remember posting this. LOL. Must have been from one of my bad days. I have been doing this on my own too. I've been pretty positive, but sometimes bad days just happen. Yep. Sometimes bad days just happen. Mm-hmm. We all need to be forgiven from time to time. All of us, none of us are perfect. Sometimes we slip up. Sometimes we aren't that great at controlling ourselves. Sometimes you wake up crabby and then you're like, whenever I do that, I'm like, dude, what? You don't even believe in that. Stop it. And I'll be like, okay, you're right. And then I'll stop being crabby. The first thing I do when I'm feeling crabby is doing something that is against what I would want to do when I'm crabby. So if I'm feeling crabby, the first thing I do is I go talk to somebody and be pleasant with them. And that shifts everything. As soon as I feel myself being crabby, like, I don't want to talk to anybody, blah, 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 I'll go talk to somebody. Or, whatever it is, whatever I have this feeling inside, like, I don't want to, I do that thing and I do it with a good attitude. And that totally takes me out of it. That totally, a lot of times completely removes the bad crabbiness that I have. Sometimes it can sustain a little bit longer, but if I keep at it, it will disappear. So if you're having one of those days, don't get me wrong, we all have those days. So, but one thing you can do is just work on your attitude, and that'll make the day feel a lot better. One thing I do, is when anybody asks me how my day is, I always respond that my day is great, or it's good, or it's awesome, or it's fantastic, or whatever. Because when someone asks me how my day is, it's a mental check. It's a mental check for me. So someone asks me, hey, how's your day? Suddenly in my brain, I'm going, oh, I get to decide right now. I'm going to make today a great day. I'm going to fix my attitude. If it hasn't been a great day, I'm going to fix my attitude right now, because here's a mental check. Someone just asked me, how's your day? And I have to be the guy that has a great day all the time, because I need to be that for myself, and I need to be that for other people. Other people, I want to give other people my best. And when I'm not at my best, then I'm not worth being around. So, when anybody asks,
too.
"Hey, how's it going?"
You've ever seen Ryan not at his best?
Yeah, it's terrible. You don't want to see it. But anyways, yeah, when somebody asks me, "Hey, how's it going?" or "How you doing today?" whatever, it's always another chance to be like, "Wait a minute, where's my attitude right now? Can I fix it? Does it need to be fixed?" A lot of times doesn't really, but sometimes I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Let's pick that and stick with it. Let's have a good attitude right now." So anyways, it's just some weird key points on the discussion. But yeah, how to make people not be a jerk to you when everything's falling apart. I think a lot of it is just how you present yourself. People will pounce on you if you look like you're having a bad day because you're an easy target. If they're the kind of person that likes to do that. Unfortunately, we have those kind of people in the world. And we hope to help them. But the best way to help them is by having a good attitude and spreading that attitude with them. So lift their spirits up and not give them another reason to be a jerk.
Right.
So, anyways, I'll pass that off to Joe and see what he has to say about the whole issue.
Well, I love what you said about, when people ask you how you're doing, it kind of gives you that momentary, it gives you a moment to really assess, how you are doing. It's funny, like it's become kind of a knee-jerk reaction when somebody asks me how I'm doing, because it's usually the same response. It's usually just, how are you doing today? Amazing. Because the thing about amazing is it can be used either direction.
Amazing.
It could be amazingly good or amazingly bad. And so I usually follow that up with like something like, I'll say something like, "I'm doing amazing. You wouldn't even believe it."
It's a weird statement. It's like, why wouldn't I believe it? It makes me want to like, try me.
That's funny because I'll get a phone call from a client or something, and I'll be talking to him on the phone. They'll be like, "How are you today?" I'll be like, "I'm amazing. You would not even believe it if I told you." And they're like, "I love calling you because you're always doing so well." And I'm like, "Hey, I didn't say I was doing good."
Listen up. Don't shove your thoughts of my words in my mouth.
Yeah,
right?
Don't be putting words in my mouth. But what it does though is it gives you something to, it does lift your spirits to do that, and to say things in that type of tone, and then it gets you kind of off of your issues and having a problem. But the thing about having a bad day, it is true, bad days happen, but a day is made up of moments. So really, it's just bad moments that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to walk my kids through this because sometimes they'll kind of use the terminology of, "Oh, I'm just having a bad day. This is the bad day. This is the worst day ever," or something like that. They look like they've been sucking on a dill pickle for, because
this is the worst day ever, dude. Shut your mouth.
It's like, yeah, I mean, but we do have hard times. We do have things that we face, sometimes many of them right in a row in a day, right? But the thing I was trying to teach them, the thing of this teachable moment was, no, you're having a bad moment. This thing that happened, this is bad. But that doesn't mean the whole rest of the day is going to be bad. Just because something happens at 9 a.m. when you're just kind of getting rolling with your day doesn't mean that it's going to be horrible for the whole rest of the day. Sometimes that just means, oh, hey, look, I got the bad thing out of the way. Now the rest of the day is going to be fantastic. There's different ways to look at it. But Ryan is absolutely right. When you feel down and you kind of show that to the world, it's true. There will be forces that work against you. There will be people that see you and they just kind of dump on you, or attack you, as you've stated in your comment there, because they, you become a target. You become an easy target. You're already having a crummy day. whatever. And so it just kind of can work that way. And you can turn it around if you can address the moment in your head. Okay, this bad thing happened, but all right, I'm going to handle that as I can, and I'm not going to let it wreck my whole day. And then you can kind of put it past you and look forward to the rest of the day. Like, okay, the rest of the day is going to be good. Then that starts back the good climb, and you become less of a target. And so I would encourage, to, a lot of times when we think of the present, we think of today. We think of this day that we're in right now. But our lives come at us one moment at a time. I got up today and I worked on, some Black Etiquette Swerve stuff, and that was a series of moments. And then I went out and I did some inspections, and that was a series of moments, and some of that was drive time where I was listening to some good stuff. And some of it was, doing the inspections. And then I got to go to martial arts, and that was a series of moments, a series of exercises and different things, that was happening. And, I was stretching and pulled a muscle. Oh, doggone it, that hurts. But then, I got going, and, and then it just kind of faded away, and that's better. So, but all of these things are going to come throughout a day. You're going to have good things and bad things happen. And sometimes, like Ryan had said, you wake up sometimes and you just kind of feel crabby. Sometimes a dream I had that night will put me in a crummy mood. I've had that happen before. I don't know if you have, Ryan, but I've had a dream. It wasn't even real. And I'm all of a sudden in this just crummy mood from some figment of my imagination.
I've had dreams put me in weird moods before, but not necessarily crummy.
Oh, okay. I remember, this happened recently, not too long ago. I had this really bizarre dream about something that happened, and I was just mad at the person that was in that dream.
Great. And you're like, that's not even real.
I know. Like,
thought in my head, and I'm mad at it.
Like, I'm mad at this person. So now I have all these negative thoughts about this person because of something that happened in my imagination.
That's amazing, man.
I know, and I really had to check myself. I had to like actually speak to myself and be like, "What are you doing?" I will say that out loud to myself sometimes. What are you thinking? Or what are you doing? Or stop it. Or that's ridiculous. I'll say these things out loud to myself. I probably look like a crazy person if people could actually see and hear me throughout the day. But, I will have to adjust my thinking and actually tell myself, stop it. Because I know that, this is just a moment. This is just a feeling. And who's in charge? I am. I'm in charge of my feelings. Sometimes we don't feel like that's the case. And a lot of times, I'll tell you, one of the biggest challenges we face, especially on the Don't Worry Wednesday stream, one of the biggest challenges I see any of us dealing with is when our feelings start to control us. And that is it can make you feel helpless, and it can make you feel just like I have no control.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to remind you, and I want to remind everybody, look, you are in charge of your feelings. You can be in charge of your feelings. I should say that. That's maybe the better way to put it. You can be in charge. Sometimes it takes discipline. Sometimes it takes hard work over time, developing the habit of being in charge of your feelings. But you can be in control of yourself and your emotions. And, I'm so glad all of you are here, because sometimes we just get so wrapped up into a situation that it takes the outside perspective, like I said at the beginning, and then things can kind of help out. But I'll tell you, I interrupt my thought patterns constantly throughout the day. I'll be like, sharpen up, maybe I'll be daydreaming and I've got all these tasks I got to focus on. And then all of a sudden my mind just goes off into la la land. And I'm thinking about, fluffy ponies and, braiding horses' tails and
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That specifically.
But no, I'll have to like sit there and be like, sharpen up, Joe. Come on, get together. Sometimes I'll even snap my fingers or clap at myself just like that. And and sometimes it takes that. But the whole point of all that is, just because something bad happens to you in a day doesn't mean that the rest of the day is going to be bad. It doesn't mean it wrecks the whole week. Doesn't mean that, sometimes a series of bad things happens, but a lot of good, the reason that bad things are allowed to happen is so that a greater good can be brought from them.
That's right.
So when you have something bad that happens to you, sometimes you can if you can get your brain wrapped around that truth, that bad is allowed to happen so a greater good can come of it. Sometimes it's just like, man, I can't wait to see what good comes of this, because I don't know how that's going to work out. But hey, I know that that's why bad things happen, is so that something greater, a greater good can be brought from it.
Yeah, one thing you can do is when bad things happen to you, is be like, sweet, bring it. Let's see what I learned from this. Just have that learning mentality, and just knowing like, hey, I'll suffer through it. You show me what you got, because this is just going to make me stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a tremendous thing. If you like, I love that. Bring it. Oh, you're going to give me some car trouble today. All right. You're going to give me a flat tire. Okay. You're going to give me a flat tire and a busted engine. All right, cool. You know what? I'm going to call a tow truck.
What now?
Me. That's
right.
I'm going to call a tow truck, and I'm going to call my clients and tell them that nothing else is getting done today because I'm having car trouble. And you know what else I'm going to do? And then, but, part of that is going along with, you've got a problem and you've got the end of the problem, the solution, and you've got all this time in between. You decide how much time in there you spend flipping out about it, or losing your cool about it or whatever, or feeling depressed about it or whatever, but eventually the problem's going to be resolved, and, but you can determine how you spend that time. And it's really, when I started to learn that, it took a long time in my life before I started to learn that fact.
I think it does for all of us.
Yeah, but when I started to finally learn that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so liberating. And it's so exciting, because then it's like, oh, okay, this happened, big deal. And then you start to look like a superhero to all the people around you, because
yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, how come you're not freaking out about that? I'm like, what good's it gonna do me?
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I really hope that some of that helps. But I'll turn it back to Ryan to see if he's got any other comments to tie up all of my ends that I left on.
No, it's great. Everything you said is awesome. The one thing that you're talking about is the moment versus the day. I remember when I was a kid, people would say, tomorrow's a new day, so, everything's going to be better. Or, the song, the sun will come up tomorrow. That's the right notes. Yeah. Anyways.
Bottom dollar? What's a bottom dollar?
That's your last dollar.
Oh.
So that's every bit of money you have got.
I thought it was like,
I had to ask you. I had no idea what it meant. I had to ask somebody, and they're like, well, if you keep on moving the stack, once you get to the bottom dollar, you have no more money left. So
I like it as a dollar stuck to your bottom or something. Like,
yeah, well, it is.
Bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, I bet your bottom dollar. It's a dollar in your back pocket, stuck to your bottom.
Anyway.
Yeah, precisely. That's what this topic's about. No, so yeah, I remember thinking when I was a kid, I was like, why is everyone always fixated on like the next day coming and then like all of a sudden that's a restart? It's never been that way for me. If I have problems when I go to bed and I wake up, those problems are still there. I don't know why people always think like tomorrow is going to be a better day. For me, it's always like, well, why wait for tomorrow? Let's just start working on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why have to wait for tomorrow to change my attitude? Let's just fix it right now. And it is I think that tomorrow, you know, the concept of, you know, tomorrow will come gives a lot of people hope because you know, for a lot of reasons it gives people hope. And I think that's good. But you know, why wait? Why not just start with right now? Because right now is something you can control too. You can control your attitude. Even if it's not easy.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see you, Sophia. Been a long time.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you're feeling better already. That's awesome. We're so glad to have all of you people here. It's so great.
Oh my gosh, yes. You guys are tremendous. And I love, you know, Ryan, what you were talking about, you know, the why wait till tomorrow. It's a great point because you can build momentum into the next day.
Oh, sure.
And I'm a big proponent. You know, we're coming up to New Year's. And so like the New Year's resolutions are going to be happening for a lot of people, you know, however many people make New Year's resolutions.
I've already started mine.
Yes. Exactly. Because right. I was saying, you know, a lot of times people wait till January 1st. It's like, wait a second, why not get some momentum through the month of December, you know, and just kind of get started moving in that direction. Then by the time January, it's like if you're going to be like, I'm going to exercise starting in January, start now.
Yeah, it's true. It's like people wait all year for a New Year's resolution. It's like, you know, you don't have to wait, right? Like, you know, you can just start that any day now, like literally tomorrow.
You certainly can.
Like if you want to figure out how to walk around the neighborhood every day, why don't you just go walk around the neighborhood like right now? Because then you can start figuring it out. You don't have to wait.
Yeah. And then you'll be super ready for it by the time January 1st comes. You'll already be doing it. And then it'd be like, oh, my New Year's resolution starts today. And I've already been doing it. I got momentum on my side.
You're right. And you're not going to feel bad about it. You're going to feel like, man, I'm awesome. Right. It'll make it a lot easier because your resolution is one of the harder things to keep. Like everybody knows, like 99% of the people that make New Year's resolutions never keep them because it's like trying to start a new habit. But if you start the new habit before even it comes, then you're already on track.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to the gym the first 2 weeks out of the year because I know it's going to be packed.
That's right.
And it's going to be ridiculous. And so, but then 2 weeks after, you know, like second week of January, it's going to thin out a little bit. And then by February, it's just going to be like normal again.
Right.
All the people with their New Year's resolutions, they'll fizzle out.
That's true. That's funny, but it's true. It's unfortunate. It really is. Princess is asking, I think it's supposed to be a continuation of this.
I think so too.
Topic we have right now. She asked it a little while back, and now she's asking again. How would you guys know when to ask for help if you've had a bad moment? Then she's asking, when do we ask for help?
I think, well, sometimes a bad moment, you know, is like if you have a bad moment, sometimes what I will do personally is if I have something bad that's happening and I can't figure it out, if I know I'm going to need to ask for help, you know, I will do the best I can to just set it aside and get focused on doing the other stuff I need to do and just kind of, you know, put it aside for a little bit. And then when I have a chance to, you know, there's a handful of people that I'll bounce ideas off of, the people at Black Static and Swerve mainly, or my wife, or sometimes parents, you know, I'll bounce things off of and say, you know, hey, you know, I dealt with this situation And I'm not exactly sure this is how I handled it so far, but I'm not quite sure how to go about this the next time. But there have been times when I've had a bad moment and I've had to call somebody because I've needed to deal with it. So I'll have had to call, say, Ryan's brother Kyle has generally been a good person for me to call. Ryan's been a good person to call. Steve at Black Static and Swerve, he's like a brother to me. So, there have been many times when I've been dealing with problems where I've just called him up and been like, hey, dude, you got a few minutes to talk, because I don't know. So it's good to have some people that you can call right away. But then sometimes if you can't figure something out, you might just have to shelf it for a little bit, get on with your day and try and do something else and get moving in another direction, and then save it for a time when you can really bounce it off, some people. Or you can Google it, but buyer beware. Googling it, you might not always get the best answer.
Yeah, it's like I have a problem in YouTube or in Google's like, yeah, it looks like you have cancer and 3 types of emphysema, and you're gonna have to go to the hospital. Like, what?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's Princess, that's a really, really good question.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if you're having a bad moment and it's a continuous challenge, then it might be time to get some help. And that's one of the reasons why we're here doing Don't Worry Wednesday, is for those types of challenges. When you're having something that, you just can't seem to get past or figure out, or something you need a new perspective on. That's one of the reasons we do this. I can remember when I was a teenager and in my early 20s and, even on into my late 20s and early 30s and my late 30s.
Wow.
where I've had moments where I've had times where I've needed a fresh perspective on things. And it's so tough. I was just listening today to a podcast, and apparently suicide rates have gone up in the last couple of years quite dramatically. And, part of the problem is the disconnection between people and a lot of social media stuff. There's a lot of superficial stuff that floats around social media, and it just can make people feel bad about themselves, make us feel helpless. Sometimes, you just look at our world situation. There seems to be times when a lot of things are falling apart in a lot of areas, and it can be really disheartening and discouraging. And, we really just care, because I remember going through those struggles. Mm-hmm. And I remember how much it would have helped to just have somebody to bounce some things off of, and really, really just have somebody to care. And that's why when Ryan and I were starting this up again, we were like, really, I really just want to, I hope that I can share some love with the people that come on this show or the people that ask questions. I really just want to, encourage them, because sometimes that, I know how much that would have meant going through those tough times, to just have a little bit of encouragement when everything around me seemed to be discouraging and falling apart. And you guys, I can't tell you guys mean so much to me, and I'm sure Ryan too. It's so humbling, and it's such an honor.
Yeah, it really is,
to have you guys here, and wow, it's just tremendous.
You guys can solve any problem that you have pretty much without us. We're not really doing much here. Mm-hmm. Our main point is basically to encourage you to continue trying to solve it, because we know you've got what it takes within you. Everybody goes through their problems, and everybody can handle them. But sometimes it feels like it's too much. Sometimes it feels like I can't handle this anymore. What do I do? And so it's nice to have perspective. I'll say that, you don't want to go through life without asking other people's opinions and getting wider perspectives and understandings on things. Like, it's so great that we have each other to lean on and grow off of. But you guys are all smart enough to figure out all of the problems on your own. But that doesn't mean that that's always the best route. Ultimately, we're here to help you just try to figure those things out and just be encouraging to you because we love you. We want the best for you guys, and we really do. But yeah, so when is the best time to ask for help? Or when is it time to ask for help? How do you know when it's that time? It's never a bad time to ask for help. Because if you are with the people that you trust that really love you and want the best for you, they're only going to help you. It can be bad, I suppose. It can be a bad time to ask for help when you're not really asking for help and you're just seeking, how should I say this? If instead of asking for help, if you don't really want help, okay, you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Sometimes people ask for help and they don't really want help; they just want someone to talk to. Or sometimes people ask for help, but they just want to complain. Complaining is not really ever good for the soul. But seeking the solution to a problem is, so it can be bad to ask for help when you know that your soul or your heart just wants to complain. I think when those times are there, maybe it can be good to put it off to the side for a moment until you get off, until you kind of fix your attitude a little bit and want to actually solve the problem, and then go and try to solve it. But it's not going to be a bad thing to ask people for help. It's always nice to be able to solve things on your own. That way you don't, no one has to put up with it other than you. But the people that are there that want to help you. People find joy in helping others. There is great joy in helping others. And so being the person that gets helped, sometimes you bring joy to others. Asking people like, hey, I've got this problem. How do you think I should solve it? The person hears, hey, I trust you and I think you're really smart. Can you help me? And they're like, oh, yes, I can. I would love to help you. Thank you. When you ask for help for other people, that makes them feel good. A lot of times it does. So it's not really a bad thing to ask for other people's help. How do you know when it's a good time to ask for help? Whenever you feel like you know somebody that might have the answer, that's a good time to ask, because then you get to work off their experiences too, and that will help you push yourself through the problem faster. Even if their answer is not exactly correct, it helps you boil down the answers that you need, and get to the solution faster. So it's great that we have communications and can ask each other for help. So if that's something that you do often, don't ever regret it. I think that's a good thing. Ask for help. It's, a lot of people don't like asking for help because their pride gets in the way. They don't want to show other people that they're broken. But we're all, if you don't really need to be that way ultimately. Yeah.
Right.
So.
And it's okay. You know what? We're all broken in some way. We're all wounded. We're all damaged goods in some way. We've all been hurt. And that's part of what makes somebody a good listener and empathetic and all that stuff. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people on a lot of different subjects, and the only reason I've had anything to say that was helpful is because I've been through a lot of challenges myself. And so I can understand the struggle.
Yep.
So and true. Yep. So you guys that are having challenges right now, you're building your abilities to be able to help another person someday. Maybe someday, very soon, maybe tomorrow.
Right. And, that's kind of interesting because that increases love. It sounds weird, but that increases the amount of love that's in the world because you get to have these problems and you get to suffer through them. And that becomes a gift for somebody else. And so then you've suffered for somebody to help them in the past, to help them in the future, which is ultimately a gift of love. And so it's kind of like interesting because it's like, what's the point of problems what are the point is, I think this is the better word here. What is the point of struggling if when we struggle, we learn from it, we can just help somebody else who's struggling through it and learning from it. And then that next, it's just like an endless cycle. We're all struggling. And what's the point ever then? How come these issues never get completely solved? What's the point? Well, the point is that actually creates love, as weird as that is, because now you're taking an experience that you had to suffer through and you're going out of your way to help somebody else. And that's very loving. And then they get to do the same. And so it's kind of like slowly love is being increased through these type of things. It's really interesting. But yeah. And who's to say one day they won't all be solved, So, but yeah, life is beautiful in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thanks again. Thanks for the question, Science Rocks. And I'm glad you're getting hyper again. And I'm sorry to hear that you're missing a leg, 2 lungs, your right eye, and your sense of balance. And it was all lost in the war against Animu.
Animu means anime.
Oh.
War never changes. Rough, man. That's rough.
Yes. So thank you very, very much for posting. And so now I see that Bree is here.
Bree, are you still here? Hopefully she is.
She's been telling Rack Attack that he needs to go to sleep.
Rack Attack. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's not my job. My job is to tell people what to do if they've got problems, and you're not asking a question of whether you should go to bed or not. So I'm not going to answer, I'm not going to tell you what
to do. Right. So yes. So you want to move on to Breeze here?
Yeah. But the question is, which one? You've got the bus ride
one, because I think we handled the other one.
The one that said, well, there's another one that was posted 36 minutes ago.
Huh? Oh. Okay.
Bray, which one?
Do you want us to do your most recent one, or do you want us to do the bus ride one? Or do they kind of work together? The recent one, she says. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
It is not stupid.
No, there's no stupid. There's just less smart. No, I'm just kidding. It's not stupid though. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Believe me.
That's right. Everyone goes through experiences and problems and they want help. So I think it's good to always be able to be open to ask for other people's help. So don't call your concern stupid.
All right.
We love you.
Yes. All right. Well, you want me to read this one, Ryan?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Bree posts, I'm so sorry. I burden everyone. I'm an annoyance. I screw up things. And yet all I can do is say sorry. It feels like I'm drowning myself. I know I'm doing it, but I just watch myself drown. I sit back while my heart goes numb and my mind goes blank. I can feel myself fading, but I do nothing to stop it. I do nothing about it. I'm killing myself and I don't care at all. Do you know what it feels like to have your soul shrivel up and turn to dust? To have your heart break and crack at the slightest touch? Your mind fills up with these dark thoughts and you let it consume you. You let it destroy every fiber of your being because that's what you deserve. I don't know how to make this stop. Bree, thank you for posting some tremendous insight into, the feelings that you have. And I'm sorry, I mean, I know that you're apologizing and saying you're a burden, but you're absolutely not. And is I wish there was a magic spell or something that I
That'd be
could,
nice.
you know, cast through the screen and, help to heal that. But sometimes healing is a process, and I'll let Ryan go ahead. He usually has exactly the right words to say
I don't know about that, but
at
thanks.
a time like this.
Yeah, like we said a couple of times, the way you write your messages is very deep, and well written. And yeah, it kind of like, again, it makes you feel like you're experiencing it. Because when you type it out and we're reading it, it just wrenches at my heart and it
Mm-hmm.
feels terrible. Which is not not a bad thing. It's a good thing. I'm just saying that you're really good at conveying your message. So, um, and I feel really sorry. You know, it's okay. Sometimes here's the thing. Like sometimes the truth is, all we can do is say sorry, and that's it. That's all we can do. We can just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's nothing more I can do except for say I'm sorry. I go through that. Believe it or not, you know, when I do things that I know are wrong, and then I have to make recompense if I have to, like, be forgiven of my sins or whatever. All I can do is say sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When I mess something up, I'm just like, I can do nothing to fix. There's no way I can repay what I've done wrong. There's no way I can do anything that'll fix anything. Like what I've done is what I've done, and I've messed things up, and I've messed things up, and I have messed things up, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. And so, you know what? That's not wrong. Um, there's nothing bad about that. Because in truth, that's all you can say. And then you wait for someone else to just forgive you and say, you know what, I forgive you, or that's all right, or maybe they don't. But anyways, you got to move on. Um, so I mean, I understand being in that situation where it's just like I'm just saying sorry over and over, and it's like everything I feel like is like a mess up is a mess up, and I'm just saying sorry for it. That's all I'd ever do. Like I get it. And I want to encourage you to understand, like it's not bad. It's not bad to say sorry. It's a good thing, and it can be disheartening when you feel like I can do nothing, or nothing is right. But saying sorry is one of the best things you can ever do. As weird as that is, um, saying that you're sorry shows where your heart is. Saying that you're sorry shows where your intentions are, and that your intentions are good, and that your heart is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so you might feel like you're doing nothing, but in reality, you're sharing with whoever you're apologizing to or whatever. You're sharing with them who you are, and you're sharing them with them your heart, and your heart is growing from it. I feel like every time we say sorry, our heart is growing. And so sometimes it makes us feel like, we have no reason to be prideful about ourselves, and we can hate ourselves over it because we just mess everything up. But at the same time, it also shows us how good we want things to be, and how good our heart is at wanting those good things, that we want things to be right, and that we want things to be beautiful and good. I think that is very good. That's a very good thing. So, um, saying sorry, that's good. That's good. Again, we've covered being a burden before. Um, you know, just try not to think that so much. I know that we've discussed it in length before, um, and and I have a feeling you understand, but I also understand that getting over thoughts and habits is extremely difficult. So
Mm-hmm.
just keep on working on it. With time, you'll eventually no longer feel like you're just a burden, because you're not. You're more than just a burden. I promise. I seriously, you are more than just a burden to everybody. You're a friend, and people like having you around. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I like having you around. I think you're a great person. So, um, and you're really friendly and really loving. And seriously, you're not a burden. You've never been a burden to me. Um, so I don't know. I don't get to talk to you that often, but I wouldn't mind talking more. So you can message me at any time, and I'll respond if I'm there, or if I can. Um, but yeah, but yeah, I think eventually, you'll stop feeling this way. But I understand that you feel this way right now, especially with everything you grew up with and so on. You don't have to get into detail, but I understand it's hard. I understand it's really hard. But I'm fighting for you, and I know Joe's fighting for you too, and everybody here probably um, wants things to be good for you because you're a good person. You really are. Um, and you show that because here's the thing: people who don't care about how other people feel would never call themselves a burden. People who just take advantage of other people don't think of themselves as a burden. They might have this pain inside, and they're like, why is no one my friend? They might have the pain inside of, I'm a terrible person, but they generally don't realize that they're being a burden or that they're causing other people harm or whatever. You're being upfront about it. I think that you're not a bad person at all. So you shouldn't pick on yourself. You shouldn't be mean to yourself because you don't deserve it. You deserve much better than that, especially if you know, if you think that you're being a burden, that means you care about how other people are feeling. And I think that's really a wonderful thing. Because it shows you're a really loving person. So keep it up. You're going through a lot in life. And you're gonna get through it. You just gotta keep on chugging along like you are. You just gotta keep on getting in there and screwing things up. Because let me tell you something. I remember going to an event where there was a speaker on stage and he was talking about how he became successful and blah, blah, blah. And his main thing, he just said, I just went out there and messed it up. That's what I did. And that's how I became successful, is because I went out there and I messed it up and I messed it up. Messed up my relationships a lot. Messed up, messed up the business model, messed up everything, until I got it right, or until things just worked regardless of the fact that I messed it up. You just got to get out there and just mess it up. And it's okay. So like, I understand when you feel like you mess it up, you don't feel good about yourself. Like, that's normal. But if you can maybe reframe your mind and just say, I messed it up just like everybody else, and that's okay, and start moving forward, because how we grow is through experience. Sometimes they're mental experiences, but most of the time they're physical experiences, things that we go through in the physical reality around us. And we grow through messing it up. We grow through, getting things wrong a couple of times and then figuring it out. So when you mess it up, don't be hard on yourself. Remember, everybody messes it up. And don't pick on yourself for that. Because you don't need to. And you'll feel a lot better if you didn't. If you mess it up, next time you go into something and you mess things up, you do something wrong, or you feel like you're an annoyance to people, or you say the wrong words, the words come out of your mouth, you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, dang it. Next time that happens, be like, messed it up. Done, messed it up. Sweet. Now how do I fix it?
Sweet.
Sweet. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. Oh, sweet. Messed it up. Just be humorous with yourself, because the less serious you take yourself, the faster you are at getting over the emotional hurdles or the self-disrespect that you cause yourself. And you're able to just go straight at the problem and be like, oh, well, I messed it up. Whatever. Now everything's up in the air. There's people mad at me. I'm mad at myself. Sweet. Let's go. Let's do this. Because, Joe was talking about it earlier. The faster we get from freaking out to solving the problem, the better. There's this problem happens, whole freak out session, and here's solving the problem. It's just this little thing. We spend so much time, and it's not just you, it's everybody. It is me. I've been there so many times. Like driving down the road, a car breaks down. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Like freaking out. I'm like, I guess I'll call somebody, and then eventually it's just like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. All right, I can wait in the car for like 30 minutes till someone picks me up. Like, that's not a big deal. I know how to wait. And then like 30 minutes goes by and it's like, yeah, sorry, they went to the wrong place. And they found out that they're not in your area. It's going to be another like 3 hours before someone comes pick you up. Comes to pick you up. And then you're like, whatever, I can wait. Like, I know how to. I just sit here. It's all right. Like,
I guess I could take a nap.
Yeah, I could take a nap right now. That sounds great. Thanks, God, for giving me a nap on the job. I'll do that. Whatever. Life is just like that. And that's it's funny. Try, if you can take your mistakes and just be like, oops, I messed up. I'm gonna make it okay in like a couple of days, so it's not a big deal. Just remember that you can fix your problems. Some problems, they can't be fixed, and that means you just got to get away from it. But most problems, you can fix them. Mm-hmm. You got a relationship problem, you can fix that. And that's funny because relationship problems are a lot of people's biggest problems. Mm-hmm. But relationship problems are things that you can generally fix most of the time. It does depend on the other person. But what you can't control in another person is not up to you, and it's not your problem. If someone has a bad attitude and you've already done your part to try to say, hey, like, let's try to fix this, and they still have a bad attitude towards you, it's not your problem anymore. It's not your fault anymore. That's them holding on to it. And then you can't blame yourself for that. You can say, I'm sorry. And that's good because you are sorry. You want the relationship to be good. It's good. Am I staticky right now?
You were a little bit, it sounded a little bit funky there for a minute, but it seems okay. At least it's okay on my end right now.
All right, cool. The audio is funky on Ryan's side. Funky. That's right. I like being funky. Yeah. Put your hands on the floor, put your butt in the air. Okay, anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Life we have to take it. We have to take it seriously. We have to hold the bar high on ourselves. We can't ever beat ourselves up. It doesn't make for a good relationship with ourselves. And that's one of the most important relationships we have, is a relationship with ourselves. So when you mess something up, laugh at yourself. That's good to do. When you mess something up, be like, oh, messed it up. Just like all of us do all the time. How do I fix it? And just get and try to diminish the size of the freak out zone so you get to the solve zone faster. Just like, Joe has been saying, Bray, you got this. You've been through tons of stuff. Mm-hmm. And, as Joe was saying earlier, you go through bad stuff, but the bad thing is allowed to happen because good can be made from it. Good can come from it. A greater good. That's just how life works. And you can use that to your advantage. But if you get yourself in the right mind zone, that really helps. Yearn for the struggle so that the struggle can help you grow. As weird as that sounds, I remember, getting to a point in my life where I'm like, okay, where's the next problem? Come on, hit me with it. I'm looking, I'm waiting. I want to grow as fast as possible because I've got me right now and he's not good enough. I want to be a better person. So hit me with the next problem, hit me with the next struggle. I've got things to grow in, and then the struggles come. And when you have that kind of attitude, like the whole point of the struggle is for me to get better. There's a reason for everything, the whole point of the struggle is for me to grow. So just hit me with it. I want to grow. I want to grow. Right. That makes me feel good. I never feel upset at myself for accomplishing something. And so, or for learning something new. So if you can kind of get yourself in the mindset of like, hit me with it, throw it at me. What you got, and then, hit me with your best shot. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Copyright song, sing it off key purposefully so that it doesn't get copyright strike. Anyways, yeah, I understand that's not easy. And you're like, how am I supposed to do that? It's just a mentality you got to try to get into. Because I'm not trying to say your problems aren't serious enough to mourn over, because they are. Your problems are serious enough to feel bad about, to experience pain and sorrow and freaking out and everything. Your problems are important. But my main point is, if you give your problems the ability to determine how you feel, then you're not really ever going to feel very good, because your problems are always going to be there to make you feel like poop. But if you keep the control to yourself and say, my problems got nothing to do with it, my problems are just there to help me grow, then that'll put you in the right mindset to get over your problems faster, rather than feeling like poop all the time. But ultimately, that's up to you. And I know you can do it. You've come this far, and you're almost leaving a lot of your problems behind in the next 5 or 6 months when you go to your next stage of life. Like, that's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for you when that time comes. But remember, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. So you might go to a new area and a lot of your problems are going to be left behind, which is good, because those problems are not your problems. They're other people's problems that they're putting on you. Mm-hmm. Just because they have bad attitudes and they don't love you the way they should. But, you take yourself wherever you go. So you have to remember, wherever you go, you still got to love you. You've still got to have that relationship with you and make it a good relationship. So working on that now before you move is probably the best thing you can do. But yeah, try to have fun. Just try to have fun with life. It's life. It's just like whatever. It's just like it does what it wants. You can have fun with it. You can. I remember many times with bad things happen, and I just laugh. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. This is hilarious. Like, seriously? That's funny. Like, yeah, it's a big problem, but that's just funny. Like, why would that happen? That's ridiculous. Laugh at your problems and enjoy life and laugh at life, because that'll make you smile and that'll make life a lot smoother. But yeah, anyways, I want to pass it off to Joe instead of continuing to ramble in loops. Go for it, Joe.
I'm just impressed at that you said poop twice in less.
I know. I was gonna say another word. It was crap, but I felt like crap was too intense.
That's we're getting into some pretty strong language.
I know that language.
The censors are going to be censorific.
Yeah. Soon we're not going to be able to say most.
We're going to you start using words like poop. And when we put the podcast out, we're going to have to put the word explicit on it.
That'll make people think far worse things.
Yeah.
Than actually.
Hey, you know what? It might cause some people to listen to it that would not have in the first
place. You can't say poop. Oh, no.
Bree, I love you. You know, you are so tremendous.
It's not dirty language. There's no dirt in poop. It's all just, I guess, unless you ate dirt.
Yeah, if you ate dirt, there would be.
Yeah, that's true. Poop is dirty.
And it is disgusting. You're
it
right.
Sure is disgusting. You've got a point there.
In fact, I'm going to bellyache for a minute because my in-laws bought a dog and then they left town. And then I had to go and take the dog out
and clean up
in the middle of my work day. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted a dog. But then I was taking care of a dog. Not that I don't like dogs. Dogs are wonderful
creatures.
But when I gotta go and deal with it, I don't want to have to deal with it. So
sure.
Anyway.
Let the dog out, yeah. Joke.
So anyway, Bree, you know, again, you have such a way with words that is so descriptive and rich. And you, I'm sure, you know, your writing capabilities are amazing. Like if you were writing, you know, stories, or, you know, you could write short stories, novels, you could probably do a lot of that stuff. And just because of the way you choose words, you would captivate readers, because just reading your posts are absolutely captivating. And so, you know, I have to tell you how valuable you are, because I mean, and not just because of your abilities to write, but just because you exist. You know,
you have such a way with words. And she's like, I just said cow poop. Oh my gosh. The way you write is just, look at that. COW space. And how did she know to put that space in there?
I know. And then the two O's next to each other with a P on either side. I mean, those are words that could be spelled frontwards or backwards and be the same.
Except for if it was rotated. If it was backwards, it would be cool. It would be cool.
Yeah. Well, but I do want to let you know, I mean, Ryan has said some great stuff about deserving. That word jumped out at me in your post. You know, you let it destroy every fiber of your being because that's what you deserve. And, you know, Ryan has said before, I mean, we really don't deserve anything.
Right.
Good or bad. We don't deserve to exist. We have been called into existence and we didn't do anything to deserve it. You know, most of the time, we didn't do anything to deserve the good or the bad that happens to us. A lot of times we've just tried to do things and things have come our way. You know, I mean, there's a natural order to the universe. And if we follow that, you know, things happen. You know, Ryan decided one day that he was going to spend a lot of time playing the piano. And as a result, his skill at playing the piano is very, very high.
It's decent.
You know,
but thanks.
It's very, very highly decent.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
Yes. So, but at any rate, you know, that's the natural order of the universe. You know, you work at something and then your skill in that area develops. A lot of people would say, well, you deserve to be good because you worked on it. And I guess to some degree that's true, but that's just following the order of the universe, right? It's just the way that it was created. Exactly. So, you know, the more you do something, the better you get at it. Now, the more that you entertain, you know, defeating thoughts and harbor that stuff, you're going to develop a skill in that area. And, you know, it's going to continue in that direction, you know. And so part of what I want to do is I want to, you know, maybe help flip that switch a little bit and say, you know, you have such a tremendous way with words in your post, not with cow poop post. That's, but that was hilarious that you said that. So, but, you know, you can turn that, there is a sense of release in using words in a sense where you're talking about sad things or difficult things, where there it can kind of people can relate to that, and they can really dig into the depths of their feelings, and it can help people to release some of that, and it can really be good. But you can also use that power you have to promote positive things. You can use that descriptive and rich terminology for, moving in the positive direction. And I would encourage you to try that sometime. Try and see if you can write something like that. It might not be what's going on in your heart and mind at the time, but it might help. And, I can absolutely relate to you and what you've said here. You screw things up and all you can say is you're sorry. You feel like you're drowning yourself, and I know the feeling of trying and trying and trying and just not getting anywhere. I know that feeling. I know what it's like to just be holding on to my existence, and it seems like that's all I can do is just hold on at the time. I don't feel like I'm moving forward at all, but I'm just trying to hold on. And I've been there before too. So I know exactly how that feels. And as strange as it may seem, I remember this was one of the turning points in my life, actually, where I was describing to somebody how things had been going, and I said, you know what? There are two things that I am absolutely sure of when it comes to my life right now. And number one, I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can in this, whatever this situation was that I was going through. I'm like, you know what? The first of the two things is I'm going to try my hardest. I know that for sure. I'm going to try as hard as I can. Number two, it's never going to be enough. And at the moment, it sounds discouraging because it's like, that you're going to try as hard as you can. And you also know that it'll never be enough. And I was like, yeah, I know that. I know that because that's the way it's been for a long time in this situation. I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can. And I know it'll never be enough. And the thought came into my mind where it's like, you know what? Why even try then? If I know it's never going to be enough, then why should I even try? And do you know why I will continue to try as hard as I can, even though I know it won't be enough? It's because I know that it's the right thing to do. And I also know, like I talked about, the order of the universe, the natural law, the created universe, the way things have been set up. If I continue and continue and continue, eventually there's going to be some skill developed. I don't know how long it's going to take. And even though I know it'll never be enough, and the reason that it'll never be enough is not because of how hard I'm trying, it's because of expectations of others, if that makes sense. So there's an element that I cannot control in the expectations of other people, that no matter how hard I try, it will never be enough because the line will always be moving. But I know my skill level will go very, very high. And I know it's the right thing to do. And because I realized that whether or not I try is a simple choice. I choose. And it's my choice to make. I can choose to try or I can choose to not try. And you know what? I feel a lot better about myself when I'm trying.
That's true.
I feel really crummy about myself when I'm not trying. I feel, my days go by and the depression seeps in, and it just gets harder and harder and harder if I don't try. But if I'm trying, if I'm working, you know what is amazing? Even though I know it's an endless, unwinnable battle, but the more I try, the more good things seem to come my way out of places that I never expected. Encouragement comes my way through people. People had told me, in fact, you know what? There is a person, because, I've chosen this way to live. I recently got to have a discussion with a relative of mine who had just been told he had 2 weeks to live. And he recently passed, and, I will be going to his funeral this week. But when I talked to him on the phone, the last conversation I had with him, he told me, "You are my hero." And this is a guy way older than me. And just watching me go through these challenges, I ended up being his hero, because he had seen all the stuff I had dealt with all the time. And the fact that I had stuck and continued to try and continued to work and continued to put forward an effort and never, ever giving up, that was seen as heroic. And I can't tell you, there's no amount of money I could have given to hear that. It was beautiful. And, so I know, Bree, I know it's so hard. I know it can be like really, really difficult. And, I just want to cry with you sometime. I'd like to sit in a room with you and cry sometimes, but I don't know. Even when you're in an unwinnable battle, it's always the most inspiring. You hear these people say, if this is the end, well, we're going to make it such a glorious end. Like people going into battle and stuff like that. It's, like, yeah, that's it. Where, how big can you make this thing? Even if you know that it's just all futile, but you know what? Let's just make it huge. And that inspires the world. Stories like that inspire the world. The story about the 300 Spartans in Thermopylae against thousands and thousands and thousands of Persian soldiers, when they held that spot, just that small number of people, because they just left it all on the table and they threw everything they had at it. Those are such inspiring stories. And to me, Bree, you are not a burden. You are an inspiration. Because I hear the things you've gone through. You've shared them with us on other streams and through other posts. And to go up against the things you've gone up against in so many areas of your life, and that you're still here and you're with us and you come and share with us, and even though it's hard, you're still pushing, you're still going through it, and it inspires me. And so I can't tell you how much I thank you for just being who you are. As hard as it is, you keep going. And it's an honor to know you, even though I don't know you. I've never had a conversation where I've heard your voice. I don't know what you sound like or look like. I just know what your words look like on a screen. But You are a beautiful person, and I'm so glad that you're here. So I hope that can help. I hope some of that can get into your heart and maybe just give you enough strength to go another day or another week and just keep going, because the end of this struggle, like Ryan said, and you've stated on other posts where you can see the finish line for a lot of this stuff, and it's there in front of you, and you can get there. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see what you accomplish. I can't wait to see the impact you make in this world, because I've said it before. The greatest artists are sometimes the most tormented souls. We've seen that time and time again. Some of the greatest musicians, artists, authors, anything in creative arts in any area, sometimes the best stuff comes from people that are the most tormented. And the fact that you're going through this challenge tells me something great's going to come from you. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. One of those things they were saying, Bree, you'll never know how many people you've inspired just by running the ropes and sticking through it. You probably don't realize it, but you're probably a hero in some way to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You yourself as a burden, or that you just make people feel, like you're a burden. But I bet you also make a lot of people feel inspired. I know that, your struggles to me seem like they're really ridiculous, really hard, really, really big. So, I mean, that inspires me in part. And so it's like my problem sometimes it's just like nothing, and other people will feel that way too. Now, and Joe was talking about, sometimes you have those things. It's like, it's impossible to ever, there's no way to win, right? Those exist in the world, but you know what? You still win. As weird as that is, like, there are many examples of things where things like someone's going to be killed because of their religion, right? And then they get killed. And it's like, well, then they lost. They died. Like, yeah, but they actually became a martyr for their religion. And that religion only spread because other people saw how strong they were through the hardships, through being put to death. And they were strong through it all and faithful. And then other people were like inspired by it. And then their religion now lives on today because of that. So their whole reason, their whole desire to help people in the end was successful beyond themselves, even though it's like, they died. At the same time, their death caused more victory than they ever could have if they remained alive. And that's true for a lot of different scenarios, where, yeah, it's sometimes things feel hopeless. And yet through it all, even though at the end you might not have solved that problem, you solved an even bigger problem for a lot of people and yourself. You made the world a better place because you stood up and went against the grain, went against the problem, went against the hardships. Even though it looked fruitless, there's so much fruit that came from it. A lot of times we don't see it all. A lot of times we uncover the truth of how much came from that hardship of someone who's fighting against all odds. And we look at it years and years later and we're still figuring things out. It's like, wow, this came because of that and that, and it's like, whoa. So,
right. And interestingly enough, Ryan was just talking about the fruits of these things, and that's so true. Sometimes we don't even get to see the fruits of these things. And I heard a great quote one time where this guy said, you need to stop measuring success as far as how much fruit you're gathering, as far as like how many results you're getting, and measure your success by how many seeds you're planting. Because that is absolutely true. I remember going through, like sometimes in our business at BSS, we look at the results and we're like, okay, this is where our results are. It's not where we want to be. And quite frankly, it's probably never going to be where we want to be. The bar will always be set higher than what we want to be, but the key then is not necessarily how much we're reaping, but how much we're planting. Because we never know how far this is going to go. We never know how far, just doing this stream and saying a few words, maybe we'll inspire somebody to go do something that we never even know happened, but it was because we did this, because we sent something good out there. Somebody took it and ran with it and created something even better.
Right.
So do it. One of you guys.
Yeah, one of you guys sounds better on your mind. Go do it.
Yes.
Please. By all means, we need as much help in this world as we can get. I mean, all of us.
Absolutely. As many allies as we can have in this fight in our culture, in our world, to bring truth and love and positive thought and encouragement and validation. Those things that we are so starved for. Just so, oh my gosh, the more people we can have that just do that in their lives, whether it's digitally, online, or person to person, or however it's done. And you guys are so great. I look at the chat here. I will look at the forums on bss.studio.
Please do hug random old men at Q. That's awesome.
Yes. And Haley, you are being heard.
I hear you.
We hear you. We see you. I know that it sounds like you're probably going through something, and like Princess says, when you're ready, we'd be happy to do whatever we can to help you out. And Bree, I know being positive is definitely not easy.
If it's okay for me to make a suggestion, I don't know if you pray at night or anything, but
okay, Ryan.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Suggest anything?
Never mind.
Yes, please do.
I mean, I don't know if you pray at night. You don't have to pray, but if that's not your thing, but if you can remember the things you're thankful for, start there. Every night before you go to bed, think about, and every morning when you wake up, actually both, when you go to bed and when you wake up, try to think of, let's just start with 2. You can work your way up. Start with 2 things, trying to figure out 2 things that you could be thankful for. Roof over your head, corn in your bowl, shirt on your back.
I got a pillow and a blanket.
Fingers with fingernails, your beautiful face, your ability to write and read. These are all positive things you can be thankful for, right? These are just some. Come up with 2. Let's just start with 2 every night before you go to sleep and when you wake up. This will get you start to be good at being positive. We all have to start somewhere, and I'll tell you that's kind of where I had to start.
Gratitude makes a huge difference. Finding those little things to be thankful for. Sometimes it's just thankful that there's a toilet that works in the next room.
That's right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it can be as blatantly weird as that. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things to be thankful for, and it sounds like that's stupid. Why would I be like, that's not deep. That's like an out. That's easy out. Just talking about the toilet in the next room. That's easy out. Yeah, but it's something.
It is, and just because I mentioned toilet talk, now we got to put the word.
Oh, great.
We talked about poop. We talked about toilets.
Goodness.
All these kinds of stuff. No, and now the show's gotten all dirty.
But anyways, as you go on, you can work your way up. Once you can do 2, you can do 3 the next day, and then try 4, and then try 5. You don't have to go past 10. Okay, 10 is totally enough. You've only got 10 fingers, so or maybe you've got 11 fingers. That gives you one extra finger to count things you're thankful for. You can be thankful for that. Or if you're missing a finger, hey, you only have to count 9. That's nice. Anyway, it's not as many as on your hand. Try to just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The toilet in the next room, light bulbs, those are nice. Communications online, that's really cool. The air that I breathe, I'm not in outer space and suffocating. These are like super easy, obvious, like not deep, right? But just starting there helps.
I'm thankful for this little notepad.
No,
it's nice. Made from scrap paper. Scrap paper that I had used for routing, and I made it myself. It's a do-it-yourself scrap paper pad that I took some rubber cement and I put it over this top.
Really?
Yeah, I made a little tear-off notepad. Yeah.
Really?
And that little thing made me thankful for a boss that I had years ago, and I watched him do it, and he made those. And, I watched him do it, and I was thankful for him. And then that made me thankful for the job I had before that guy, because, sometimes being thankful can lead you down a whole path. Like you can head down this total rabbit trail, of like thankfulness, where it's like, oh, I'm thankful for this. And then you think about that situation and you're like, what happened there? Oh man, I was thankful for this there. I was thankful for another guy that was there who told me, he's like, I haven't been to the dentist in 10 years. And now I finally went to the dentist and they told me I need a root canal. And I'm like, well, I guess you can be thankful that the technology exists to help fix that problem.
Yeah, at least you can get that, man. That was the thing. Like, a long time ago. Not even that long ago, honestly.
That's right. So anyway, but Ryan is absolutely right. If you can find a way to introduce some gratitude into your day, before you go to bed, when you wake up at night, that can help.
That could help a lot. And all right, Bree, crying's not a bad thing. So I hope that it's a refreshing cry.
Go with our love.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, Bree.
Love you, Bree. You're amazing. And thank you again for posting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Much hugs. Bye.
Many, many hugs. So, yes.
All right.
What do we got next? Let's see. Wow. It's all. Oh my gosh.
I know. Time flies by. It's ridiculous. We only handled like 2 questions, right?
We did.
Jeez.
We did. Haley.
I'm really bad at this. No, I'm just kidding.
I am terrible.
No, we're good at this. That's how good we are. We can just talk about one subject for like an hour and everybody's still here somehow. Like, what the heck? Guys, go.
I know.
Someone talk to the same.
I know. But I'm looking at, I love you, Bree.
I love you, Bree. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So, we are probably going to have to make that the last one we handle today because, if we do another one and go the full length, it's going to be too long.
It'll be 3 hours. No.
And then if we don't, then it's going to be, we won't give it the,
what?
Giving it the value it deserves.
Yeah.
Science is going to be Akil's Valentine. It's not even close to Valentine's Day.
Yeah. All the hearts.
And Haley posted, you guys don't need to worry about me. You're right. It's Wednesday. We're not worried about anything.
You're good. You got this, Haley.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah. We're not worried. You got it.
That's right. And, I'm just really glad to see you here, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I'm in the same boat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because sometimes, what's interesting? I have spent a lot of time listening to call-in shows, podcasts, and, different audio recordings. I've spent probably years of my life listening to audio recordings and then also call-in radio shows and stuff like that. And so many times I have never once, not ever, called in to a call-in radio show.
That's right.
But I have learned so much from listening to other people ask questions. And I've been built up and encouraged so much from listening to those answers from other people's questions. You know, I listened to the Rich Dad Radio Show, and he's got a segment in there called Ask Robert, because from a guy named Robert Kiyosaki. And he's got a little section, you know, there's always the most popular part of the show is Ask Robert. That's coming up next. And they always read off a couple questions that get emailed to him. And I've never emailed a question to Ask Robert, but I've learned a lot from listening to him answer those questions. You know, it's amazing. So, you know, you guys that are here just listening, we appreciate you so much.
Yeah, seriously, it's awesome.
And
even if you never say a word in the chat.
Yep. That's how I always was. That's, you know, I listened to these. I watched, you know, when Ryan and Derek, I would be a lurker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay to lurk.
Yep. Be a lurker. And yes, Princess, thank you. Princess says to Haley, you might have missed Joe and Ryan telling you they aren't worrying because it's Wednesday. We aren't worrying. It's Wednesday. You're not allowed to worry about anything.
Yeah. So you said, don't worry about you. And so our response is, don't worry. We're not worried about you. You got this.
We're not worried.
It's Wednesday.
Yep. And I agree with whoever that was, in that maybe it was Super Potato that said, Sunnily Bright said, you know, Ryan, we haven't heard much music from you recently.
I thought I sang a song earlier this show, didn't I?
Imagine he gave that face.
Didn't I just sing a song? I just sang a song earlier this show.
Yeah, but it was a cover. It wasn't an original. It wasn't.
There's an original for you.
That sounded like Mariah Carey, actually.
Yeah, it sounded pretty weird. I don't even know what I was doing there, man. Just coming up. I was started going, and I'm like, oh no, I can't go down again because I want to be staying alive. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Oh, it's so great. But I am waiting for this next Static P song. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome.
There's a couple on the plate.
There are. There's a CDVNL song that's about to be mastered too.
It's awesome. It's actually literally my favorite CDVNL song, and it has been for 7 years. So I'm waiting for it to come out.
7 years.
You think that's a made up number, by the way, guys? It's a real number.
Actually, and you know what's funny is Sunnily heard it.
Sunnily heard it. Sunnily heard the old unmastered version.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is it Grow? Princess, how do you know what Grow is?
She asked me about it.
What? Did you play it for her?
No, I didn't play it for her. I just told her about it.
You could.
That's true.
Oh, but then it'll be out in the interwebs.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Wait, Sunnily, have you gone through all of our stuff? Have you hacked our website and listened to everything there yet?
You know, it's funny. It's actually funny because I don't know if I want to say too much about this.
Yeah, I know. Right? Sunnily, did you make an account yet and just get into everything we have? Did you get on one of our accounts yet?
You did. We were wondering if he hacked into our file sharing.
Have you done that yet? Because if you haven't, dude, just whatever, go for it.
Not yet, he says.
Not yet with the eyes. Not yet. Ooh. Oh snap! He's trying.
Right.
Okay.
No spoilers. Everybody's saying no spoilers. All right, no spoilers. I won't spoil it. But I will tell you that the mix is done, and all it needs to do is be mastered. And but I am light years away from like an actual music video. So I'm just gonna release the song and then make like a cover for it and make like a picture image CD cover, single cover. And Joe gets censored. Not yet. Working on it. Working on it. But yeah, so it'll only be audio. There won't be a music video. And yeah, so the word from our sponsor. Who's our sponsor today? Waddles? He's right there.
Who's Waddles?
Everybody that's watching knows who Waddles is.
I don't know who Waddles is.
Ryan does not know who Waddles is.
That's right.
Ryan has named Waddles. Uh-huh.
No, not uh-huh. What is uh-huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So
the word from our sponsor is mm-hmm.
He says hi.
Yeah, that's how he says hi.
With his whole body.
That's great. That's great. You guys are amazing. I gotta hand it to you guys. You guys have stuck around through this whole thing, even from the beginning of me going. And it was a great time. Thank you all so much for your posts. Thanks for everything going on in the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Princess, for posting the stuff on the website as they were posted in the chat. You're amazing.
Yeah, we love you.
Yes. Sunnily, go check out Sunnily's fan wiki. You might get a little bit of insight on the new song that's going to come out.
Yeah.
Follow the clues in the chat and you can see. Although it is somewhat deceiving the way it's been portrayed in the fan wiki.
That's fun.
And part of that is because of where it's been released in the past. The unmastered versions have been released in the past. So sometimes it might take a little bit of detective work. Yes. The hundreds of pages of BSS info. Yes, you might have to sift through that.
No, you mean that one.
Yes. So, but anyway, you guys are fantastic. And we will see you on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a little bit late because, as I had said before, it's going to be quite a busy day for me. So we'll try and be starting right at about 8:30, but we might be a few minutes after that. So,
yep.
Yes, inspirational quote from our sponsor, Waddles. Waddles. His name is Waddles.
Who?
What? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So the reason he got named is because they were saying Waddles, and I was like, "Who's Waddles?" And I'm like, "His name's not Waddles." And they're like, "Well, fine then. What's his name?" And I couldn't think of a response. I was like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just kept on saying to everything. So it ended up being.
Oh, that's awesome.
Inspirational quote from our sponsor. Incorrectly named Waddles. Microphone noises. That's great.
Yep. Well, thanks again for everybody being here. A shout out to Jesse. Thank you so much for producing the show. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Princess, for posting. Again, thanks, Sunnily, for the wiki. Thanks, Jeff, for being here.
Yeah.
And all of you guys. I'm going to start saying names. And my son, Akil, thank you. Haley, you're awesome. And
Science.
If there's ever a time when you have something that you want to post,
Science. His full name was revealed on the last stream. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, jeez, that's great.
Oh, jeez. Oh, for cute.
Oh, jeez, we're gonna go play some Duck Duck Grey Duck if y'all want to come with us.
And after that, we'll get some hot dish.
We're gonna eat some hot dish after that. Play some euchre and go bowling.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, choose guys. Have a great night.
Have a nice coffee.
And a great couple of days.